Alright, so here's the very last step. I have completed my render sequence in Maya. If I look out here on the desktop, in my set directory images folder, I've got separate folders for each AOV. So there's my beauty, which has all of the color and the specularity and the direct and the indirect. There's my ambient occlusion, and here's the demo one that's got that flat color thing. And I've already got all of those open over here in Photoshop. So I'm going to start with the beauty, and let's just take the ambient occlusion. I'm going to select all with Control A, copy with Control C, and then come over here and paste with Control V. We'll call this one my ambient occlusion layer, and generally what one does with this is multiplies it in. So I've changed my blending mode to multiply. If I turn it off, it looks like that. On looks like this. It is getting a little bit dark. Maybe I will duplicate this or paste in another copy. And this other copy, I will maybe overlay or add. Add is a little too much. Let's soft light it on in. So now I have one that is darkening and one that is brightening, which should give me something pretty nice. And as needed, I can just go through and adjust their opacity to adjust how much each one is really working on the image. And that'll give me something that looks a little bit better than just the flat render. So with this one, let's copy this one, so Control A, Control C, and Control V. Obviously I'm not going to leave this one visible. What this one is for taking the magic wand tool and saying, well, this is an object. Let's make that tolerance a little smaller. And let's deselect and just select this little bit right here. So I'm going to turn this off, and you see that that very easily selected this whole lantern. So I'm going to take my background, make a copy of it, and now I am going to add a layer mask. The layer mask is this little icon right here, and what the layer mask means is that essentially on this layer is only this one object. So now I can take this layer and I can do wacky things with it. I will do a Hue Saturation, which is Control U. Control U, not Control Hue. And maybe this one, instead of being copper like everybody else, will be, yeah, magenta. Awesome. And then maybe let's just turn that opacity a little bit lower. Now it's just like barely a different color. It's really nice and subtle. And then maybe I want to do something with this lantern here because it's just getting a little too dark. So I can come back into my selectee layer. I can grab this. Maybe I will shift and grab its little buttons along with it. Maybe my tolerance is too small here. Let's go up to like a 10. It's a little better. Grab those things with it. Okay, so again, we'll turn this off, make a duplicate of the background, and again, just click a layer mask on. So now this one only has this lantern. And on this one, maybe I will throw in a levels and just brighten up all the midtones there. So that gets a little bit brighter. It's not as dark as it was before, not as mysterious. And so maybe this becomes the final composite that I hand in. As always, when I go to save this, what I'm going to do is go to Save As. The first one I'm just going to stick up in Images, and I will call this one Still Life Composite. I'm going to save this one as a Photoshop document so it has all my layers and I can go back in and make any changes that I want. That looks great. Then I will save as a copy, and this one I will save as a PNG or some other nice flat thing that is really easy to open and look at. So we'll call this one Still Life Final. Save and OK, and that will be my final submission. So I hope that you got something out of that and out of the idea of using AOVs to just make your composite look a little bit better in some interesting ways. The final result that you get out of your render doesn't have to be your final result. You can always mess around with things and it is just fine. It's usually going to make your work better if you do. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. See you later.